Okay, apparently now I'm live. Sorry about that. There was a few technical difficulties going on. Tried YouTube's main site, but it didn't work. So I ended up having to. Sorry, I ended up accidentally turning on the video myself. I had it come through another thing. But anyway, yeah, we're live here. Sorry about that. I'm very new to this. Obviously, this is the first full stream we're doing here. But welcome everybody. Alabama versus Florida State has not started yet. It's set to start at around 3:50 Eastern, so in about 5 minutes. If you're trying to watch through ABC, you may not be able to watch the game immediately. The reason being is because of the fact that by contract, ABC has to show the full game of Tennessee versus Syracuse since it's on. So until Tennessee versus Syracuse is over, you're not able to watch Alabama versus Florida State on ABC. You have to have ESPN Plus subscription to be able to watch shit for the beginning at least. Once Tennessee versus Syracuse is over on ESPN ABC, then you'll be able to watch it from there. You however, can watch it if you have a subscription to ESPN Plus or if you have a subscription to ESPN3. What do you think about that commemorative cup, this little commemorative cup I had made for me to commemorate this occasion that we're starting here on YouTube? I do plan to do all the games Alabama does for Power 4 opponents. It's so weird still getting used to saying Power 5. But Power 4 is the name of it. But I will be doing streams for every Power 5 game we have. Not sure about the other two games because Alabama plays 2 Power 4 opponents. 10 Power 4 opponents, I'm sorry, but plays 2 opponents that are not Power 4. One of them is next week against Louisiana Monroe, and the other opponent that we play that is not a Power 4 opponent is way late in the season, Western Illinois. I'm not sure if I'm going to do those 2 games just yet. I'll figure out later on. But I know I want to do all 10 do a stream for all 10 opponents Alabama has that are Power 4. So that's the 2 non-conference Power 4 opponents we have, Florida State, obviously, and in 2 weeks against Wisconsin, plus the 8 SEC games we play. So be sure you're subscribed if you aren't already. Hit the like button and hit the notification bell. That way you know when I'm going live and when I release content as well, because I do content on this channel throughout the entire year. Obviously, this is going to be the peak season because now we're in football season, but I'm also going to do content throughout the off season like I did. Florida State just ran out the tunnel. They have their mascot doing his pregame ritual thing, whatever they call it. They're waving the flags and all that. Yeah. They do all the show they can, and you're just like, can we get the game started already? If you're watching Tennessee versus Syracuse, Tennessee is also still playing that game. Also, I had my first incorrect prediction of the year. You probably noticed yesterday I released a short where I said that I predict that Ohio State was going to beat Texas. It just went final that Ohio State beat Texas. Oh, wait, I think I said that wrong. That Texas was going to beat Ohio State, but Ohio State just beat Texas. So I got that prediction wrong. Go ahead and laugh at me if you want. Hell, I'm laughing at myself. Why would I be offended that you're laughing at me? But Game supposed to start. Ty Simpson. The big storyline is Ty Simpson as he is starting for the first time as an Alabama Crimson Tide starting quarterback. He sat behind Bryce Young for a little bit. Then he sat behind Milroe for 2 years. Now he makes his debut. So we'll see how he is able to handle the pressure of being the Alabama starting quarterback. On the other side, we see the big storyline is Florida State. Can they get past their 2-10 season that they had last year, the disappointment season, where they went 2-10 with their lone win being against Cal, who many seem to think is the worst Power 4 team, and against, who was the other one they beat? It was some FCS school. I think it was Charleston Southern. And Florida State looked good. It even looked good in this game, let alone win. There's the mascot charging onto the field to mark that the game is about to begin. Florida State has this tradition where they have a guy on a horse who plants a flaming spear. That's something I knew he planted a spear, but I didn't know it was flaming. But that just happened. It looks like the game is actually going to be able to start on ABC. So if you have, so you don't need the ESPN Plus subscription after all. The game's starting or at least about to. Alabama players rushing onto the field. Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer on the call for the game for the ABC ESPN crew. Now Florida State takes the field. Can't see because I don't have the audio. I'm trying to see who's going to kick off to start the game and who's going to receive. They just put the camera on Ty Simpson, which implies it's going to be Alabama receiving the kick. Okay, Florida State is going to kick the ball off to start the game, which means Alabama is going to be on offense to start the game. Florida State will receive the second half kickoff. Back to receive for Alabama is number 11. Ball is kicked off, and we have football for Alabama as the ball just sails right through the end zone for a touchback. So here we get our first glimpse of Alabama starting quarterback Ty Simpson, number 15. It is, as I mentioned, his first career start, although it's not his first time he's seen action, most notably in the second half of USF 2 years ago. He is the starting quarterback, so everybody's been looking to see how he looks, especially with Milroe now gone to the NFL. Here he goes. Simpson is under center to start the game. Running back behind him, man in motion. Simpson hands it off to the running back, who is going to get open for a few yards before being stopped for a gain of about 6. So it'll be second and about 4 for the Crimson Tide. Impact players, Caden Proctor, lineman for Alabama, Ryan Williams, receiver for Alabama, and Earl Little, defensive back for Florida State. Second and 4 for the Crimson Tide. Simpson under center. Number 5, Bernard in motion to the right. Simpson keeps the snap, throws it complete, but number 5 fell immediately, but it is enough for a Crimson Tide first down. Number 5, by the way, is Jeremy Bernard. Hold on, we have the first bot. So let me get him off of the screen. Yeah, that's the bad thing, is that we get bots here for some reason. Anyway, first and 10 for the Tide with the ball right around the Alabama 43-yard line. Hands it off to number 8, who gets about a 2-yard gain on the rush. About a 2-yard gain on the rush there by number 8. I can't see his name, But no, that's actually number 9 who got the rush there. Simpson now for the first time in shotgun takes the snap, keeps it himself, trying to find somebody open before he finally takes off and gets about a decent gain, 2 yards short of the goal line, not the goal line, but the first down line. So it'll be 3rd down and about 2 for the Crimson Tide, just before getting to with the ball a little bit before the midfield stripe. Actually, it's slightly past the midfield stripe at the 49-yard line, so they need to get it to about the 47-yard line of Florida State to get the first down. Simpson in the shotgun. Now he looks to change the play, I guess. I don't know what he's doing there. Still in the shotgun, takes the snap. I'm surprised they didn't call some sort of motion play, though they did call a flag. Alabama going to get whistled for a false start. So the first penalty of the season for the Crimson Tide. That's a little disappointing there. Proctor motioning to the Alabama players to get settled there. Sorry, I'm trying to turn off the other TV. Okay, there we go. So it'll be back it up by 5 yards. So it'll be 3rd and 7 for Alabama, negating what would have been a good pass play, but the penalty mean the play never even happened. Simpson takes the snap, looking for an open man, just decides to run it, and he is going to be stopped about a yard short of the first down. So it's going to be 4th and about half a yard. We'll see what DeBoer elects to do here on 4th down. Does he punt it, or does he try to catch Florida State off guard with a play here? Give me a second to share the link to the stream. Anybody who wants to watch it. Florida State the play was just ran as I wasn't looking. Sorry about that. But Alabama is able to get just enough for the first down on the play. So Alabama barely able to continue to drive, as it was number 9, Young, on the carry. 1st and 10 for the Crimson Tide. Score still 0-0 with about 11 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Simpson in the shotgun is going to hand it off to number 4, who is going to shake a few guys before he is tackled for an 8-yard gain. Give me a second. I'm trying to share the stream. Okay, there we go. 2nd and 3 for the Crimson Tide. Clock ticking with 10:30 in the first quarter, as the Florida State fans are already doing that chop they are infamous for doing. Simpson in the shotgun is going to take the snap and hand it off. This time the running back's gobbled up in the backfield for about a 3 or 4 yard loss on the play. Just no protection there from the offensive line. Florida State's defensive line just able to get into the backfield like nobody's business there. And it's going to set up about 3rd and 7 for the Crimson Tide. 3rd and 5 is the official call, according to ABC. Ball spotted around the 43-yard line of the Seminoles. Simpson in the shotgun. He takes the snap, and the running back gets through and is just past the first down. Young on the carry there for the Crimson Tide gets a good-looking run there. So yet another first down for the Crimson Tide. They are driving, getting very good into Florida State territory on the first drive of the game after having received the opening kickoff. And going a little bit speedy here, new running back in the game for the Crimson Tide, number 28. Simpson in the shotgun here. A lot of plays coming from the shotgun for the Crimson Tide here. Needs to get the snap off. Luckily, he does. Hands it off. He's going to get a good run. Number 28 on the play gets about a 15 or gets somewhere between a 12 and 15-yard gain there for the Crimson Tide. First down, moving the chains. Right back into the play here. Crimson Tide, Simpson and shotgun before some weird stand-up happens. Don't know what the hell that was. Motion free play happening here. Simpson waiting on the snap, finally gets it, hands it off to number 28 again, who gets about a 3-yard gain before the offensive line assists him for about another yard. So a 4-yard gain there by the Crimson Tide as Alabama is on the border of the red zone. Nice look. Kalen DeBoer rocking a golf look for some reason. I don't know why I said for some reason, because Kalen DeBoer has been known for rocking ridiculous-looking looks on the sideline. Simpson in the shotgun, 2nd and 6. Simpson gets the snap, looking for a man, fires outfield. Incomplete pass. Bernard looking for a pass interference, but they're saying that I don't know if they're saying the ball was uncatchable or if the Florida State defender got his hands on it. It was actually almost intercepted. No, it wasn't almost intercepted. I'm sorry. Bernard had it in his hands, but he was getting hit while he was trying to catch the ball. So it'll be 3rd and 6 for Alabama. Simpson in shotgun. Young came into motion and set by Simpson as something is happening. He's got to get the play off. 7 seconds left on the play clock. 4, 3, call a timeout here. Okay, DeBoer does call a timeout. First timeout for the Crimson Tide is, I don't know what happened there. Some miscommunication for the Crimson Tide. Almost results in the second penalty of the game for the Crimson Tide. Luckily, he's able to get a timeout off on the play. And Florida State fans are going crazy with that. Is it the tomahawk chop? I think it's called the tomahawk chop. Commercial break here for the Crimson Tide. Give me a second. I need to share out the stream here. Right, just shared it out. Still at a commercial break here. It says the ad break, because on the TV it says how long the ad break is going to be, and it has it at about a minute and a half left for the ad break. Good drive for the Crimson Tide so far, although that minor hiccup just happened where Alabama was trying to get the play off but couldn't. Ty Simpson and the throws he's made so far looked good. So far I'm impressed by Young, the new running back, as well as number 28. Didn't get to see his name. I didn't catch his name, but ground game pretty good for the Crimson Tide, as well as the offensive line, which that's what I was really hoping was going to improve as much as it could, was the offensive line. Pretty good so far. Let's see how it goes for the rest of the game. Cheers. Okay, so might as well say the rules of the chat since somebody's actually here now. Let's have fun, but be respectful. I don't mind minor cursing, but don't be putting people down in here. Let's have fun. You know, feel free to say who your favorite team is. I would advise against saying your location, but I'm not going to exactly stop you. And hell, maybe even what you're sipping on. What the hell was that? Okay, for some reason the ad timer on the TV said that the game was about to resume, but then it reset to 2 minutes. So here we go here. Game about to restart. They put the feedback on, but okay, there we go. Simpson in shotgun as a guy scrambles to get to next to him. Simpson almost got sacked, but is able to escape the pressure. Simpson close to the first down, may have got it. If he did, it's right at it. Might be time to break out the chains for the old measurement here. Line broke down, but Simpson was able to escape it pretty well. He might have actually got the first down there. I think he did. I think he got the first down. They're going to rule it that he did. Just shy of, okay, another bot is here. So let me take care of this bot here. Yeah, if you see that link, don't click it. It's some guy trying to steal your information. Simpson gets it out to Williams. Williams gets the first down before being stopped at around the 2-yard line for Alabama. Clock running down here. Alabama taking a lot of time off the clock here. First and goal from the 3-yard line. Simpson in the shotgun hands it off to number 9, Young. Gets about a yard, if anything. Second and goal for the Tide with less than 7 minutes left to go in the game. No, not the game. Less than 7 minutes to go in the first quarter is what I was looking to say. Florida State fans doing that little tomahawk shop again. ABC is focusing on that really weird for some reason. Second and goal from the 2-yard line. Simpson again in the shotgun. 2 men in motion. I'm assuming they're both tight ends. Number 9 goes behind him. Snap the ball. Snaps it with 2 seconds left on the play clock. Simpson gets it to number 80. Touchdown, Alabama. First touchdown of the year for the Crimson Tide comes on a short pass from Simpson to number 80, Josh Cuvis. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing his name right. 2-yard reception officially for the Crimson Tide. Puts the Crimson Tide up 6-0. Beautiful looking pass here. Beautiful looking drive. Culminates in a touchdown for Alabama. With that little flea flick, not a flea flicker, but a flip pass. Extra point about to be kicked by number 31, who kicks it, and it's easily good right down the old pipe for Alabama, as it is 7-0 for the Crimson Tide with 6:10 left to go in the first quarter. The Alabama offense looked really good there. We'll see how the Alabama defense does against the Florida State offense in just a little bit, as we are once again headed to a commercial break. Ty Simpson, I thought, looked well composed on that drive. I'm loving that new running back, number 9, Young, as well as number 28. Cuvis, a really good short yardage tight end, gets the touchdown there. Simpson only once looked for Ryan Williams. I thought Ryan Williams might be a little bit more involved in the game, but apparently he wasn't there. Although we may see him a little bit more as the game goes on. Offensive line did really well. They're looking better than they were last year, because last year there were some games where the offensive line would crumble upon impact. The one time it did, though, I thought Ty Simpson did really good at saving the play, where he was able to run it and get that first down there that set Alabama up in goal-to-goal situation for the game. As Alabama quickly takes a 7, well, it wasn't really quickly. It took more than 10 minutes, but Alabama goes on the board first, 7-0 on the first drive of the game. as we are waiting for this commercial break to end. And we'll see Florida State take the field for the first time. Excuse me there. 1 second, I have some flipping to do. There we go. Still a commercial break here for Crimson Tide versus Florida State. Interested to see how that new quarterback for Florida State looks, because Uyunglele got injured halfway through the season last year, and the other quarterback didn't really look well at all. Florida State offense really in general did not look well last year. So we'll see how they at least attempt to do this year. Florida State fans already going crazy in the stadium during the drive for Alabama. So they're probably about to go really crazy as Florida State is about to take the field. Still a commercial break for some reason. What is it with this long commercial break? Okay, now they finally put the feedback onto the game, and they're showing some flashbacks of Alabama and Florida State in 2023, that controversial season there, which I stand by a statement I made in the Hype and Hate video that I do think Georgia had a better case for the playoff than Florida State did, because remember, Georgia was on a 29-game winning streak going on in the SEC championship game, and then they ran into Alabama, that's really the reason why they came up with that new rule that the Power 4 conference champions automatically make the playoff. Just wanted to shout out. I don't know if the person who made that is in the stream right now, but if you are, very much thank you. Studio update. It looks like Tennessee wins 45-26 over Syracuse. They're also showing that Georgia is very early in the game, up 14-0 over Marshall. Kickoff from Alabama to Florida State went through the end zone. So Florida State is going to take over possession from their own 25-yard line. 1st and 10. Florida State's quarterback is in the shotgun with a running back behind him. Man in motion, hands it off to the running back, who is stopped for about a 2-yard gain. Just like powered his head forward, but luckily the defensive line was able to get there. Tommy Castanelos is the quarterback for Florida State. Castanelos in the shotgun for Florida State with the running back lined up next to him. He looks to pass. He gets the pass off. Was able to shake a guy, but then is immediately swarmed for about a 3 or 4 yard gain for the Seminoles, as it'll be about they officially say 3rd and 5 for the Seminoles. Castanelos in the shotgun now looks to the sideline, gets the snap. Everything looked at a standstill for a second. Now he looks deep, and it is caught. But right at the last second, the Alabama defender was able to get there and rip the ball out before the Florida State player could get down in bounds. So it's going to be incomplete. That would have been okay. Now there's a flag on the play. That flag flew a little bit late. I don't know. That looked like incidental contact on the pass there. Flag flew very late. In fact, ABC didn't, either the flag flew late or ABC didn't catch it for a while. Holding is the official call, and it goes against the Crimson Tide. So that's going to give Florida State a new set of downs here. So what looked like a drive ender for Florida State gets saved by a holding call against the Crimson Tide, and it moves it up to the Florida State 40-yard line. Castanelos is in the shotgun, hands it off to number 12, who gets a good he faked the handoff, and Castanelos took it himself, faked everybody, including the ABC camera guy, and it's a first down for Florida State. So Florida State now driving after the drive looked dead, but then holding call was called, but I don't even know where the holding could have possibly happened because the guy wasn't actually holding him. He ran into him. I could understand maybe you could call pass interference, but not holding. Hands it off to number 12 on the play as almost every Alabama defender there fell down, but a flag is thrown. May have been a holding on Florida State here, so we'd be even here. Holding against Florida State, so that's going to back up Florida State about 10 yards, repeat first down. 4:43 left in the first quarter of the game. Alabama up 7-0. They're showing the replay, and oh yeah, he held them big time there. So that's going to back Florida State up to 1st and 20 for the game. I'm sorry, for the spot. 1st and 20, backed up to the about the 42-yard line of the Seminoles, and they hand it off, and he gets about a 5-yard gain. Defensive line for Alabama practically stood still there. 2nd down and about 15, if I were to guess here, for the Seminoles. Clock ticking to just above 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Officially ruled 2nd and 15. Castellanos in the shotgun for Florida State. He takes the snap. Nobody there. Gets it to number 13, who catches it, but is immediately knocked out of bounds after a 5-yard gain for the Seminoles. So it'll be 3rd and back to the original line of scrimmage. No, 3rd and 11 for the Seminoles. They go rather hurriedly. Castellanos in the shotgun with nobody near him. Looks like Florida State tried to change the play. Timeout, Alabama. 2nd timeout of the first half already for the Crimson Tide. That's going to leave them with 1 timeout left to go in the half, as the clock is going to stop with about 3.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Florida State, when the game comes back, we'll have the ball 3rd and 11 from just before the midfield stripe. Florida State both the victim and the whatever the opposite would be, beneficiary of penalty. They had the what looked like a drive-ending incompletion on 3rd down that was then called a holding against Alabama, and then they had a holding go against them that backed them up 10 yards. So now they're with a 3rd and 11 from just before the midfield stripe when the game is brought back on ABC. Both good and bad for both teams on this drive so far. Obviously, the big thing being penalties, which, yes, it was only 1 penalty, but that penalty was a big one. Because that's another thing, too, about Alabama last year. Not only penalties, but penalties in crucial spots would hurt Alabama in a lot of games last year. That's something that has to clean up if you're Alabama, especially since it could have cost you big time there if Florida State wouldn't have returned and shot themselves in their own foot. So you got to really be careful here if you're Alabama, as some very weird commercials are taking place on ABC involving the Muppets. Pretty good start for the SEC so far, other than Texas losing to Ohio State earlier. Auburn got the win over Baylor last night. Georgia off to a good start so far against Marshall. Tennessee able to get a pretty sizable win over Syracuse. Obviously, right now we have Alabama leading 7-0 over Florida State. Later tonight is Clemson versus LSU. So I'm going to pay attention to that, even though I won't be on stream for that game. And also tomorrow there's South Carolina versus Virginia Tech. Also, some teams getting upset. Boise State was predicted to be one of the best Group of 5 teams this year. They lose 31-7 to South Florida. While we're waiting, might as well look for other notable scores just to report on for the game. Penn State leading Nevada 10-0. And the feed is back on now on ABC for Alabama versus Florida State. Gus Malzahn takes over as offensive coordinator, former Auburn coach for Florida State. Castellanos by himself in the shotgun. 3rd and 11. Now a running back joins Castellanos in the backfield. Castellanos takes the snap, looking for a man, throws it way downfield, has a guy streaking, and it is caught by the Seminoles at around the Alabama 7-yard line. Beautiful pass there. Unfortunately, it was us that was not in position there. Number 4 for the Seminoles gets the pass, and Castellanos is going to get into the end zone for a touchdown, Florida State. So Alabama looked like they had Florida State down, but now but now Florida State punches right back, and it is pending this extra point that Florida State's about to kick, going to be a tied ball game late in the first quarter. Oh boy. It was a good looking pass. Great play by Florida State. There's a lot of Alabama players around a position on that play there. As the extra point is about to be kicked. And it is kicked and easily good. So the game is now tied 7-7 with 3:04 left in the first quarter. Both teams scoring on their first offensive drive of the game. Alabama took about almost 10 minutes off of the clock during their first drive of the game. And now Florida State answers with a 3-play drop, with a 3-minute drive of their own that ends in 7 points. Alabama defense played well in spots there, but unfortunately allowed a big play where they couldn't, and then allowed Castellanos to march in there. Let's see how the Alabama offense responds now that the game is tied again. Alabama is going to receive this kickoff as soon as they take the field here. Doak Campbell Stadium electric right now for Florida State. Kickoff about to go in the air. And the ball is going to be kicked, and it is once again going to sail through the back of the end zone. 3 kickoffs so far, all 3 of them going out the back of the end zone. Florida State kicked the opening kickoff, which went out the back of the end zone. Then Alabama, when they scored, that kickoff went out of the end zone. And now this one from Florida State goes out of the end zone. So Alabama's going to receive the ball at their own 25-yard line with the game tied late in the first quarter. A lot of words shared about this game between Florida State and Alabama on Twitter. Castellanos himself, quarterback of Florida State, said they don't have Saban. We're not afraid of them. Here we go, 1st and 10. Simpson in the shotgun, hands it off to Young, who is going to be stopped for maybe getting back to the line. Clock ticking below 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter, as it looks like it's starting to rain in Tallahassee. they're focusing a lot on Castellanos for some reason when the ball wasn't in motion. Now they're focusing on the fans doing the tomahawk chop. 2nd and 10 officially for Alabama here at the 25-yard line. Simpson and shotgun with Williams going in motion. Looks for somebody. Simpson throws it, and it just fires it out of bounds towards the Florida State bench, although it looked like Bernard might have caught it in bounds, and he did. Wow, I didn't even notice it because there was a group of Florida State players right around the camera that covered it up. Let's see on the replay. Bernard, did he keep his feet down just enough? Well, that's not going to matter because Alabama hurried up and did a short pass to Ryan Williams, who then gets about a 6 or so yard gain for the Crimson Tide to set Alabama up with 2nd and what I think is going to be about 3 here. Clock ticking below 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 5 officially for the Crimson Tide here. Bernard and Williams lined up right next to each other in the formation. Simpson in shotgun with Young behind him as the running back. Hands it off to Young, who is going to get about 3 of the 5 yards needed for a first down here. So it's going to be 2nd and about 2 for Alabama with the clock now about to go below a minute left to go in the first quarter. Is Alabama content to let it go to 7-7 tied? And then just regroup after the quarter ends? Clock officially ticks below a minute left to go in the first quarter. 3rd and 2 officially. Simpson is lined up in the shotgun. He needs to get the snap off. 4, 3, 2, just barely gets the snap off, throws it to, I'm assuming that's Bernard. I thought it was Williams he threw it to. But Bernard is able to get to about the 25-yard line of the Florida State Seminoles, which is going to set Alabama up with good field position. And what looks like is going to be the end of the first quarter. Both offenses really shining through in this first quarter. So if you're a fan of offense, you love this game so far. And is this a deception move by the Tide? They're lined up to start a play, but I wouldn't be surprised if the clock just ticks down here. No, he gets the snap off. Simpson dumps it off to number 1, which is Horton. I'm assuming that's his name, Horton. And that's the end of the first quarter. Game tied 7-7. Alabama going to have the ball back deep in the Florida State territory when the game returns. Both offenses scored there on their drives. Simpson got the touchdown for Alabama with a flip pass to Josh Kiovas. I believe that's his last name there. And then Castellanos with a 7-yard run after a deep throw to set up Florida State deep in their own territory. So situation is 7-7 when we come back at the start of the second quarter. Impressed with the Alabama offense so far. Defense looked good in spurts, but allowed a play when they couldn't afford to, and that set up Florida State with good field position, in which then they capitalized on. If Alabama can eliminate those mistakes, it'll be a good game for them defensively. And Alabama just really needs to continue what they're doing on offense so far. Impressed with the Alabama offense. So far, Simpson doing a pretty good job in his role as quarterback. Of course, it helps that Bernard and Williams are doing well in their respective roles as wide receiver. Young looks to be pretty good so far on the offense. Offensive line, other than that one play where it completely broke down, is looking a lot better than it was last year, but Simpson was able to cover that one up really well by running for a first down. Not a bad performance so far for Alabama, other than the minor hiccups on defense that allowed the touchdown. Damn it, I covered up my own logo there. Notable scores: Penn State up over Nevada 10-0. Georgia up over Marshall 14-0. That one just got to the second quarter. Oregon up 14-0 over Montana. Ohio State in a very low scoring game, much lower scoring game than we expected, beats Texas 14-7. So depending on which one you were looking at, I'm not sure if you call this one an upset, but Ohio State gets the win when a lot of people thought Texas, due to the fact that Arch Manning has starting experience, was going to win the game. Tennessee, of course, wins 45-26 over Syracuse. Over in the SEC, Mississippi State wins 34-17 over Southern Miss. Other notable SEC games we got going on later on in the night. We got, of course, LSU Clemson. That comes on not too long after the Alabama-Florida State game. Oklahoma versus Illinois State later at 5 p.m. Central. Florida versus Long Island. Texas A&M versus Texas Southern UTSA. Texas San Antonio. That's what I was looking for in my mind there. Ole Miss versus Georgia State. Missouri already beat Central Arkansas 61-6. Of course, Auburn beats Baylor 38-24. And then tomorrow, we have South Carolina taking on Virginia Tech. If you do remember, I did have a guy from who's a South Carolina fan. His name's Carolina Jackpot. He was gracious enough to join me on my channel to do a South Carolina preview and prediction video. So if you're watching this stream, and I'm pretty sure he is doing a stream, if he does, be sure to go over to his channel and watch the stream. He does very well. He probably does better reactions than I do. Of course, most of you haven't seen my reactions that have happened off camera. As that was happening, Ty Simpson takes the snap, and then Bernard is going to be gotten down in the backfield for about an 8-yard loss on the play for the Crimson Tide. So that's going to bring up third down at about 9 from the Florida State 30-yard line. Bama had a lot of momentum going into the second quarter, but then gets stuffed here. Let's see how they regroup on this play. Officially marked 3rd and 8 from the Florida State 28-yard line. Somebody looked like they almost went offsides, but it's not called. Surprised they didn't just call hands to the face there. I don't know what just happened here, but apparently that play just got negated because everybody just went to a standstill and nothing happened there. False start against the Crimson Tide, so that's going to back up Alabama by 5 yards there. Another crazy penalty at a weird, crucial point for Alabama, as I really don't even see what could have caused that there. Maybe an official noticed something that the camera didn't notice. But that's going to back up Alabama to about Florida State's 32-yard line. 3rd and 13 for Alabama with Simpson alone in the shotgun. Takes a snap and is looking for a man. Oh, my goodness. Where was the protection? Alabama gets sacked right there to Florida State's 35-yard line. Loss of about 3 there. We'll see what Alabama elects to do here. Do they kick the field goal or do they go for the punt here? Alabama offensive line completely crumbled there. Ty Simpson not able to make something out of nothing like he did there. Officially rolled 4th and 19. Alabama sending out the field goal unit here. 53-yard attempt officially ruled here. Connor Talty is kicking it. Did he get it off in time? If he did, it is good. No good. What? That looked like it was in. But the replay, that looked in real time like it was good, but they're ruling it no good. Maybe it fell short, maybe? Or maybe it just pushed right. Anyway, Florida State's going to take over 1st and 10. I wish they would show a replay because it looked in real time like it made it, but apparently the ref saw something we didn't see on the camera. Florida State, Castellanos is in the shotgun with the running back next to him. And, oh, whoa, what the hell happened here? Castellanos could have taken it himself there. He was on an island, but he flicks it to the running back, who then gets a 3-yard gain there. So that's going to be about 2nd and 7 for the Florida State Seminoles. Clock running, just below 13 minutes left in the half. And we'll see here, a lot of shuffling happened. Castellanos by himself in the shotgun, man in motion, hands it off to number 12, who was able to confuse the Alabama defense, but he only gets about 2 yards there. So it'll be about 3rd and 5 for the Seminoles. I'm sorry, but for that flub right there. 3rd and about 5 for the Seminoles. Saab was able to make the stop for the Crimson Tide. Clock ticking. Is about to be 12:10 left. Not Saab. Castellanos by himself in the shotgun. And taking a lot of time. Snaps it. Alabama, good protection there. And he gets it to number 13, who is able to get the first down to about the midfield stripe, maybe the 45. Defense, good at forcing Florida State into 3rd downs. We're not good at stopping them on 3rd down so far. Yeah, as the running back didn't really get anywhere on the play there. So it's going to be about 2nd and 10 for the Seminoles. Castellanos fakes a handoff, then he takes it himself, almost ran into his own guy, but he recovers and gets about a 6-yard gain for the Seminoles. So it'll be about 3rd and 4 from just beyond the midfield stripe. Looked like he was about to get sacked in the backfield, but escaped before almost running into his own guy, but recovered. They're officially marking it at the Florida State Seminole 40-yard line. Substitution going on. Castellanos in the shotgun. And waiting on the snap. Man in motion, hands it to 12, but he keeps it himself, and he gets just enough for the first down. So we're about now, and now he's probably in field goal range here. Clock ticking here. I'll give you a time sync once it gets to below 10 minutes. First down and 10 for Florida State. Clock ticks below 10 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Saab in the shotgun with the running back. Now a man goes in motion. Castellanos gets about a 3-yard gain there. So it'll be about 2nd and 7 for Florida State. Clock has ticked below 10 minutes. So officially 9:36 left to go in the game. Still tied 7-7. But Florida State knocking on the door. Castellanos again in the shotgun. These two teams love shotgun for some reason. Now he flips it to a man. Good blocking there by Florida State, and Florida State's going to get in the end zone for a touchdown. That is going to put them up 14-7, pinning this extra point. Good block, just almost impenetrable blocking by Florida State there. And they're going to go up 14-7. Deja vu for Alabama here. So many games last year where Alabama let a team hang around way too early and couldn't recover in the second half. Deja vu here for Alabama with Florida State going up here. I mean, it's still way early in the game, but oh boy, that was not how you wanted that drive to end for Alabama. And now Florida State is going to take a touchdown lead over the Crimson Tide with just over 9 minutes left to go in the second quarter. As the game now goes to yet another commercial break with Florida State now up 14-7. Defense for Alabama keeps folding at weird crucial points. They had the fold on that big pass play earlier, and now that major run there puts Florida State above Alabama in the game. Offense for Alabama the last time out stalled midway through, then tried to kick a field goal and missed. So we'll see here if Alabama can find a way to strike back and tie the game before halftime. Remember, Florida State's going to get the ball to start the second half. So if Alabama doesn't strike here, they have the opportunity to go double here and really put a hurting on Alabama. So Alabama may want to try and find a way to tie the game before halftime and maybe even chew a little bit of clock off. That way that Florida State wouldn't have time to strike back before halftime. That's the best case scenario if you're Alabama. Got some viewers here in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Commercial break still here for Alabama versus Florida State. None of these long commercial breaks happening for some reason. How you doing, everybody? Already seen some major upsets. Boise State, of course, fell last week. Oh, no, not last week. This past Thursday. Texas, of course, falling to Ohio State by a score of 14-7. And now Alabama on the ropes here against Florida State. They're down 14-7. Simpson looking okay so far, ex-quarterback. But the problem was on that last drive, the offensive line folded. And like 3 consecutive plays with a loss put Alabama, and they missed a field goal. And then the defense folded on this previous drive that just happened. Florida State up 14-7 over Alabama midway through the second quarter. Feed just returned on ABC, and a lot of mixed results here in the top 25. You see Alabama is trailing 14-7. Texas lost 14-7. They were the number 1 team going into this week. We also see Georgia leading 21-0 over Marshall. Ball is kicked off, and let me guess what's going to happen here. Yep, another kickoff where the ball sails through the end zone. And so when Alabama takes over, they're going to take over at their own 25-yard line. Of course, much has been made of that 2023 situation where they put in Alabama over Florida State. Florida State then went on to lose 63-3 to Georgia, and then went on to only win 2 games in 2024, but they are leading here over Alabama as Simpson incomplete pass on first down, so that's going to make it 2nd and 10. Alabama been looking to put away the Florida State haters since 2023, and Florida State looking for some sort of vengeance here. Second and 10. Simpson in the shotgun. Many men in motion here for some reason, including a tight end as well as Ryan Williams. Simpson takes the snap, hands it off to somebody. I was trying to see who the number was, but it got covered up by the field of players, but it only gets about a 2-yard gain. Number 1 for Alabama is riding the bike. He might have been hurt there. Horton had a deep pass reception earlier. That could end up being a key loss for Alabama if it does stand here. Simpson takes the snap, looking for a man out deep, throws it. Nobody there for the Crimson Tide, and the ball just falls mercilessly to the ground. That's going to be 4th and 8 for the Crimson Tide, and the Crimson Tide will have to punt the ball. Alabama's first 3 drives: touchdown, missed field goal, punt. Florida State's 2 drives: touchdown, touchdown. Not really the result you want to see if you're Alabama. And Simpson took a big hit as he was releasing the ball there. Shaky start for Alabama. Had a lot of confidence after that first drive, but Alabama looking to fizzling out here. The punt takes a good Alabama bounce that is going to put the ball right around the 20-yard line of Florida State. So Florida State almost as a little bit as if he did it, as if a touchback. And that's going to be the situation when the game returns. Bama defense looking to finally make a statement after the 2 drives for Florida State ended in touchdowns. 14-7 midway through the second quarter here for Alabama. Still at a commercial break here for the game. Real big storyline so far in the game is the Alabama defense not looking as well as we thought it was going to look. Florida State up 14-7. Alabama offense goes on a 3-and-out on that previous drive here. So now the situation is that Florida State is up 14-7. They're about to have the ball. As that is one weird commercial for a cruise line. And we're still at commercial. If you're wondering why I keep going so silent, it's because we're at commercial right now. Finally, the feed returns for Bama versus Florida State. But, of course, they have to show who the game is brought to you by. And are you going to go back to the game, or you're just going to show? And now they're showing other stuff too. Advertisements for the rest of the weekend. Now we finally get back to the field of play here. 1st and 10 for the Seminoles. Ball at the 21-yard line for the Seminoles. Castellanos again in the shotgun. It's worked well for him so far. So why not if you're Florida State? And whoa, wide open man. Where was the defense there? As that is an easy first down for Florida State. Easy first down for Florida State there on that passing play. So far, Florida State with a 75-yard drive and a 65-yard drive, both result in touchdowns. That one just resulted in a 13-yard gain there. 1st and 10 for the Seminoles with just under 8 minutes left to go in the first half. Snap, and at least the running game is being stopped. But if we can't find a way to stop the passing game, there is no way we're going to win this game here. Nowhere to go on the run there for the Seminoles. Good run defense, but our pass defense was nowhere to be found. Has been nowhere to be found so far. Castellanos by himself in the shotgun. Hands it off to a running back. Oh, and just when I praised the run defense, now that lets us down. We might be in trouble here. We might be in trouble here for Alabama. 1st and 10. 1st and 10 for Florida State here. Castellanos by himself in the shotgun. Hands it off to 32. This time only gets about a 2-yard gain for Florida State. Second and 7 for Florida State. Castellanos in the shotgun by himself. Castellanos is able to get free. We have not been able to stop Castellanos from getting free all day, and he punishes us again for yet another first down. This time to about the 30-yard line. Alabama really needs to focus on stopping Castellanos. First and 10 for Florida State. Ball at around the 33-yard line of Alabama. Hands it off. And right on cue, we stopped that run. But we can't stop Castellanos worth you know what? Can't stop Castellanos to save our lives, yet we can stop the running backs for some reason. Florida State with 107 yards rushing already, beating their average from last season. And we're not even in the second half. Castellanos in shotgun. Takes the snap. Oh, we had a shot to sack him in the backfield, but a guy slips. Luckily, he didn't get the first down this time. Third and 4 here for the Seminoles. Castellanos hasn't so much as had an incomplete pass so far in this game. Clock just ticked below 4 minutes left to go in the quarter. Castanelo's on an island by himself. And was that incomplete? I think it somehow was. Was it incomplete? The refs are acting like it was. If so, that is the first time we managed to stop Florida State on a third down. But it looks like they might actually go for it here. 4th and 4 in Alabama territory. Nope, never mind. Castanelos is coming out of the field there. And they're going to settle here for a field goal, 45-yard attempt. Alabama missed earlier from 53 yards. This one a 45-yarder for Jake Weinberg, kicker for Florida State. If they get the clock ticked to 0, and it's a flag on the play if Florida State didn't call a timeout. Timeout Florida State. So no on the delay of game. That would have been good and put Florida State up 17-7 if they would have gotten the kickoff. I'm actually going to take a personal timeout right now since the game is back at commercial right now. Be right back and be right back. Sorry about that. And right as I come back, the game still is at commercial, so really nothing to speak of right now. This game situation when we get back, when the feed comes back, is that Florida State is going to be looking to kick off. No, not kick off. Get a field goal to go up 17-7. Remember, Florida State does get the ball to start the second half. So best case scenario for Alabama, we have to assume the field goal. Best case for Alabama, if Florida State does get the field goal, is that Alabama is able to cut the deficit to 3 right before halftime. Now, obviously, best case scenario is that Florida State is able to miss the field goal and then Alabama get a touchdown to tie the game before half. Realistically, however, if you're Alabama, you're playing for it to eventually tie the game back up before half. No, I mean, cut the deficit to 3. Still at commercial, Jersey Mike's ad with Eli Manning there. Now, just to let you know, at halftime, I'm going to go ahead and shoot the short that I normally do, as we are back now with the game. 45-yard attempt for the Seminoles with 3:50 left in the quarter, and it is going to be good as Florida State takes a 17-7 lead. Alabama finally able to keep Florida State out of the end zone, but Florida State still getting 3 points. Each team has had 3 drives so far. Alabama's has been touchdown, missed field goal, punt. Florida State's have been touchdown, field goal. Alabama finally at least able to somewhat contain Castellanos on that drive, but Florida State still found a way to get points there. Alabama historically has always been a second half team, but last year it didn't work for Alabama being a second half team, as Vanderbilt found a way to stop them, Tennessee found the way, and Oklahoma, Alabama failed to be able to come back from that game, and they failed to come back against Michigan. Florida State going to kick off. Ball in the air again, and you're not going to believe this. Ball through the end zone again. You might as well assume every kickoff is going to go through the back of the end zone in this game, because not one kickoff has landed in the field of play. So Alabama, again, to start the drive at their own 25. Let's see if they can actually move the ball here. They weren't really able to move the ball on their last drive. Let's see if Alabama can move the ball and get points before the half. Simpson is under center here. Williams in motion. Simpson hands it off to Young. Young gets about a 6-yard gain before he's stopped. Second and 5. Simpson takes the snap, hands it off to Young again, who looked like he was going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage, but is able to get forward for about a 3 or 4 yard gain for Alabama, and that's going to give Alabama third down, and I'm going to guess 2. They officially say 3rd and 3 for Alabama with just under 3 minutes left to go. Remember, there is the 2-minute warning here, so Alabama can take advantage of the fact that the time will stop at the 2-minute mark. But let's see here. Clock ticking down. Simpson needs to get the snap off. 5, 4, 3. Gets the snap off. And he gets it to number 2, Williams, who gets it to the 40-yard line. In fact, that contact there might have actually pushed him past the 40-yard line. Williams with a decent catch there. And that's going to give an Alabama first down. Simpson now back in the shotgun, takes the snap. Good protection there by the offensive line. Fires it to Young, who would have gotten the first down if he didn't trip. And that is going to take us to the 2-minute warning. Even though the clock decided to tick down to 1:59 before the 2-minute warning activated for some reason. Alabama moving the ball pretty good on this drive so far. Let's see if Alabama can get points here before the half. 17-7 is the score for Alabama. As we are at yet another commercial break. Again, at the halftime, I will take about a minute or so to film the halftime short, take a slight break, probably not a long break, and then come back at the beginning of the second half. Remember, Florida State does get the ball to start the half. So Alabama, if you're Alabama, you need to get points before the half ends to be really in the best case scenario for a comeback. Weakness for Alabama so far has been stopping the mobile quarterback. Castellanos really able to take advantage of Alabama there. as well as pass defense. Castellanos only had one incomplete pass so far, and that was mostly due to the receiver not being able to hang on to the ball. I want to say Castellanos is like 7 of 8 so far. And really that one was because that receiver couldn't hang on to the ball. Otherwise, Castellanos so far phenomenal. And I really don't know how we're going to stop him, but we need to find a way to do so and quickly, because it could be a nightmare if we are not able to stop him. He's already torched us a lot here in this game. And if he continues to do that, Alabama's not going to come back. And as what also, too, we need to find a way to move the ball into defense. We did well in the first drive, but have not been able to find the end zone since. We need to get better at that. Advertisements for NFL Sunday Ticket going on right now. And now for Allstate. Man, you think they got enough commercial breaks already? Also, why did they include the 2-minute timeout? Well, they don't call it the 2-minute warning. They call it a 2-minute timeout in college football. But what was the point of that? Finally, we get back, and it is starting to pour down rain at Doak Campbell Stadium. Ty Simpson, again, committed to Alabama in 2022, sat behind Bryce Young the first year, then sat behind Milroe 2 years. Now he's at the starting game. Looks okay so far. Oh, it is starting to pour in Doak Campbell Stadium. Simpson fired it out to Bernard, who gets the catch there. Good catch there by Bernard, although now they're ruling it incomplete. At first, they ruled it catch, but now they're ruling it incomplete. One ref signaled complete, but then another ref signaled incomplete. I'm surprised they didn't try to review that one. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a stoppage to review that play here. And there's not going to be a stoppage to review the play here. 3rd and 4, Simpson by himself in the backfield is looking to run. What was that play there? What was the plan with the play there? Simpson had good protection, could have found a guy. Maybe he didn't see a guy open, but he could have found a guy, and Alabama looks like they're going to punt again as the rain is really coming down in Doak Campbell Stadium. Florida State takes their second time out of the game, probably looking to put one on the board before halftime to go back to back, as it is pouring in Doak Campbell Stadium right now. Fourth and 3. Indication looks like it's Alabama going to punt. And they are punting it. Punt really got a lot of hang time there. Can they stop it? Able to stop it at the 1-yard line. What is it with the ref? Because at first it looked like they ruled that it stopped at the 1-yard line. What's the ruling here? Because again, I can't even have audio on for the ABC feed because that would get me copyright struck and the stream taken down. Where is the ball at? Officially, they ruled it a touchback. I didn't see anything. Apparently, another ref overruled one ref. Castellanos in the shotgun with multiple men surrounding him fakes a handoff, and apparently, I don't know what the hell that was. I think he slid. I think he slipped. The field's starting to get a little bit slippery due to the downpour that's happening in Doak Campbell Stadium right now. It looks like he lost his footing for a second, but he still gets about a 4 to 5 yard gain on the play there. Second down and about, I want to say 6 or 5 there for the Florida State here. Clock not running, even though nothing happened. Clock not running, even though nothing happened. 2nd and 6 officially for Florida State. Castellanos in the shotgun again. Hands it off and stopped about 2 or 3 yards short of the first down for Florida State. Clock running. Minute 15 left to go in the half. If you're Florida State, what do you do? Do you try to go deep to catch Alabama off guard? Or do you play it safe here and just go into half of the lead and you get the ball back? It looks like they're going to put Castellanos back in the shotgun again. Downpour looks like it's starting to clear up slightly. Hands it off and got the first down. 36 seconds left to go in the game. No, I'm sorry, the second quarter. Clock within 2 minutes stops when the chains are moved, but it's going to move again on the ref's signal. Florida State does have one timeout to work with. Castellanos hands it off to the running back, who is going to be knocked out of bounds, and that stops the clock with 30 seconds. 2nd, and I'm going to guess it's about 7. Ooh, I thought it was clearing up, but another angle shows that it is still relatively decent downpour in Doak Campbell Stadium. Rushing yards comparison, Florida State has 125. Alabama only has 61. 2nd and 8 officially for the Seminoles. Still with one timeout left to go. Ball at around the 35-yard line of Florida State. Oh! That might have been the worst play of the game for either side. The running back for Florida State tried to take the snap, but he mishandled it completely. And Florida State's offensive line just completely stood still on that play. And that is going to bring an end to the first half. So Alabama looked great to start off, but then tapered off terribly in the second. Pretty much from the second they score that touchdown, they need to find a way to get back into this game, both offensively and defensively. That was not a good half for Alabama as they go into the first half, go into halftime down 17-7 against Florida State. I don't know what's going on here, but the camera is keeping Florida. Okay, now they break and go back into their locker room there. I was about to say, the camera was focusing really weirdly on Florida State, but now they're going back into their locker room. But anyway, not a good first half for Alabama. 17-7. And it looks, and Alabama's going to need to build up some really big momentum. Florida State does get the ball to start the second half. Excuse me while I record my halftime reaction short. Yeah, not a good first half there for Alabama. Aside from that first few, aside from where they scored the touchdown to start the game, but has not looked great since. Defense started to get the rhythm back towards the end of the second half. We'll see if that continues in the second half. But so far, not really good for Alabama as we go down 17-7. Castellanos has been the thorn in the side for Alabama all game. He's always finding some way to get free, and when he can't get free, he has some lucky wide receiver that's able to catch the ball for him. Simpson looked okay in spurts, 10 of 14 with a touchdown. But, oh, boy, Alabama needs to get their rhythm back and fast. Otherwise, this is going to go down as another big upset for Alabama. And I would hate to see what happens there and how the season would play out if Alabama would fall to Florida State here. DeBoer, I trust you. You got to find some way to get us back into this game. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season. Oh, boy, we got a lot to answer to. Come on, Bama. Pull this one out. Find a way to come back like you usually always do. Come on. All right. I'm going to upload that, and then I'm going to take a break. And I'll see you when we come back from the half. All right, we're back after that really brief break. Again, not really a lot to speak about when it comes to Alabama's performance right here. Good first impression, but not a lot here. Simpson looking okay in spurts, but not really the game breaker we expected that he was going to be. And so far, rather disappointing performance from, I guess you can say, from Alabama so far in the game. Defense looked okay, as we do have a little bit of a mini raid here going on from Jaguar Gator 9. Thank you a lot, Jaguar Gator 9's crowd, for coming hang out with me for this for the halftime. Jaguar Gator 9 did appear on my other channel, Go Pats 99. So thank you a lot, Jaguar Gator 9, for that one. But yeah, Bama needs, in order to do better in the second half, we need to find some way to stop Castanelos. Is got to be the main priority, is stopping Castanelos, because both by air and by feet, he has been able to just absolutely torch us so far. Where Castanelos really only had one incomplete pass, and you could argue it might have been the receiver's fault because the receiver failed to hang on to the ball as he was slipping. Thoughts on the Tide and how annoying it is not beating FSU? It's definitely annoying so far. I mean, hopefully we can come back. Hopefully we can find some way to come back. My voice is off from my movements. I think it might be a StreamYard issue because I'm using a StreamYard for this one. But anyway, it is annoying that we're not beating FSU right now. And what's even more annoying is that they're going to have the ball to start the second half. We got to find some way to stop Castanelos here, because that's going to be the key. If we can find some way to stop Castanelos and then get our offense back in rhythm, Florida, we could easily come back. But Florida State so far, unexpectedly good, because so far it is just not looking well for Alabama offensively so far. All right, so thank you for those mini halftime comments. I am going to take just a real quick get a refresher on my drink right now before the second half kicks off. Thank you for Jaguar Gator 9's crowd that came hang out with me for a little bit over here. Yeah, not really good so far from Alabama. Hopefully we can find a way to get back in the second half. All right, game about to kick back off here for Florida State versus Alabama. 17-7 here. 7 here at the start of the third quarter. Again, they're showing a lot of sponsorship stuff here. Excuse me. Got a lot of men ready to wind up to make the return here for the Seminoles. Number 28 back deep to return. Ball is in the air, and it's going to get to the end zone, and he's going to take it out, the first return of the game, and he's going to be stopped at the 15-yard line. So a bad decision there by Florida State to actually take this one out. Bad decision by Florida State to take this one out, because if they would have just fair caught it, that would have brought it back to the 25-yard line, but he decided to return it, and he stopped before he could even get to the 15-yard line. So not really good position for Florida State to start the drive here. Worst starting field position of the game for either team. Again, Castellanos has been the thorn in the side for Alabama all game so far. Now we're going to have to find some way to stop him as he's in the shotgun. Takes the snap, hands it off to the running back, and he's going to get about 7 or 8 yards. He's going to be second and about 3 for the Seminoles here. Castellanos in the shotgun for second down, 2nd and 3, officially ruled here. Takes a snap, and running back takes it, and he's going to get about 5 yards for a first down. And that was not really good there by the Alabama defense. I had hopes, but oh boy. I hope we didn't focus so much on stopping Castellanos we forgot about the rest of the running game. Here we go, 1st and 10 for Florida State after running for the first down. And shotgun again, which why not go to that, keep going to that until Alabama finds a way to stop it. Castellanos runs forward, but he only gets about a 3-yard gain, shortest gain on a run so far for the Seminoles and for Castellanos. So that's going to bring up second, and they officially roll it 2nd and 8. So make it about a 2-yard gain for Castellanos on the run there. 2nd and 8. Castellanos again in a shotgun here. Man in motion. Takes a snap. Has a whole bunch of defenders around him. Makes the throw. Looked like he caught it for a second, but it falls incomplete. 3rd and 8 for the for the Florida State Seminoles. Only the 2nd incomplete pass of the game for the Seminoles, as it is 3rd and 8 for the Seminoles. Clock stopped with 13:09 left to go in the third quarter. Castellanos again in the shotgun. This time, nobody with him in the backfield. Now number 5 trots back to join him in the backfield. And something got stopped and a flag flew. False start against the Seminoles. So that's going to back the Seminoles up 5 yards there. It'll be, I guess, 3rd and 13 for the Seminoles. Alabama needs to stop this here, then get a touchdown on their ensuing drive to get some momentum back in their favor. Castellanos in the shotgun with a running back. Throws it out to the running back. And he's going to be stopped. He's going to be stopped successfully there. First time this entire game, Alabama has managed to stop Florida State on a full drive. Remember, the last drive Florida State got interrupted by the halftime break. So Alabama able to force Florida State to punt the ball here. 4th and 6 for the Seminoles. And they're going to punt it from their own, looks like their own 12-yard line. No, sorry, their own 18-yard line. Oh, did he hit the guy before he could field it? It almost looked like running into the returner, but I'm guessing the Florida State guy missed it. And it took it, but the good news for Alabama is that the ball, when it landed, took an Alabama hop. So the first punt of the game, and Alabama's going to have the ball somewhere around their own 35-yard line when the action comes back. Pretty good start for the Tide for defense. Hopefully, Alabama can find a way to hold their momentum on defense, especially though Ty Simpson needs to look a lot better here, and the rest of the Tide needs to look a lot better there. Sorry, I had to move my cursor away from the mute mic button. Hopefully we can find some way, because it hasn't been looking good, but I guess the last 2 drives for Alabama's defense have looked good. But now we need to get the offense going. Otherwise, this is going to be a nightmare. Another loss to a team we should not have lost to. They're already asking the question on Twitter, if the board loses and does not make the playoffs, is he gone? I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to be going after this season if Alabama doesn't make the playoffs, but he's under the microscope here. I mean, I have a lot of faith in the board. Look at what he did at Washington. We can still come back and win this game, but we have to find a way to win this game. Otherwise, the rest of the season is going to go a lot of haywire. Not really good so far from the SEC in the major games so far. Texas, of course, earlier lost 14-7 to Ohio State, and now Alabama trailing 17-7 to Florida State. Now, Alabama cannot get the lead on this drive, but they can get a lot of momentum here if they can get a touchdown and cut the deficit down to 7-3. Still at a commercial here. Feels like these commercials get longer and longer for some reason. And now we finally get back from commercial. No, wait, it's another commercial, actually. I don't know if that's commercial. Oh, no, wait, it is commercial. It's just showing Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. Now it's back from commercial. Simpson in the shotgun, ball at around the 29-yard line for Alabama. Simpson alone in the shotgun, barely avoids a pass rusher, throws it way overthrew both the receiver and the defender there. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 for Alabama. Luckily, it was just out of reach of the defender right there. Second and 10 for Alabama. Again, Alabama's main running back, Jim Miller, not available for the game. We're hoping to get him back for the Georgia game. Simpson in the shotgun with number 4 behind him. That looks so weird, especially given Milrow or number 4 for so long. Simpson needs to get the pass of a snap off. He does. He throws it to Bernard. Bernard's got some room, and he's able to get it to the Florida State 40-yard line to move the chains for an Alabama first down. Williams well covered up, but they left Bernard wide open, and Bernard able to get a big play there. Luckily that for Florida State, that defender was there. Otherwise, Bernard would have been gone there. 1st and 10 they're going to officially mark it at the 41-yard line of Florida State. Simpson takes the snap, dumps it out to number 80, who had the touchdown earlier, but this time he slips and only gets about a 1-yard gain. 2nd down and about 9 for Alabama. Second and 8 officially for Alabama from the 40-yard line. Simpson takes the snap from the shotgun. He finds a man, and it's Williams, but they swarmed Williams immediately, and they at best was a 5-yard gain for Alabama right there. 3rd down for Alabama. Are they in field goal range though? 3rd and 5 officially for Alabama. So officially it's a 3-yard gain. Simpson by himself in the shotgun. Good protection from the O-line. Simpson, who was he throwing to there? Because it went well over the head of the nearest defender there and just sailed over everybody. So it's going to be 4th and 5 for Alabama. It's going to be interesting to see what Alabama chooses to do here. Did it go for it, maybe? Okay, Simpson tried to back out here. Simpson is out on the play here. So they're leaving their offense out, going for it. Gutsy decision here by DeBoer so early in the second half, but I guess he wants to go aggressive to catch Florida State off guard. Simpson flips it out, and no, he didn't get it. 28 fell before he could get to the first down. That looked very iffy. Watching the replay here, he flips it immediately out. And he is short. He is short. So Florida State going to take over. Wait, why is there a kneeling man there? I don't even know why they're trying to measure this. It's clear he was short. Like, even before you bring the chains out, it's clear he's short. Way short. See, that was obvious. It was obvious to me he was short before they even brought the chains out there. It was obvious before they even brought the chains out he was short. Florida State going to take over. So the gamble by the board does not pay off. And now Florida State has the ball in decent field position. Ball spotted around their own 32-yard line. One of the best starting field positions for Florida State all day. Castellanos again in the shotgun with a running back to his left, and now another one joins him to his right. Oh, defender had a good shot at him, but overran him, and that's going to be a touchdown for Florida State. No, he's just ran. He's managed. They managed to run him down just before he gets to the touchdown, but that was awfully close there. Florida State might actually put the nail in the coffin if they get the touchdown here. Defender completely overran Castellanos and Castellanos makes him pay dearly for not being able to get to him right there. This is going to be a 3-score game if Florida State managed to get into the end zone, which they do on that play, and that's going to be make it 24-7. Oh boy. Things just went from bad to worse for the Crimson Tide here. Thankfully, it's only the third quarter. We have to find some way to turn this momentum around. Florida State 23, Alabama 7 here. Florida State just absolutely manhandling Alabama on both sides of the ball. Defense can't stop a nosebleed worth anything, and now Alabama is down here 24-7. Excuse me. So Alabama down 24-7 here. Offense, if Alabama can't put it in the end zone before the end of this quarter, you might as well assume it's over. Florida State just absolutely demolishing Alabama here. Castellanos absolutely making Alabama pay for every mistake here. That all started with DeBoer. I mean, and I can't fault DeBoer for going for it on fourth down there. Can't really fault DeBoer for going for it on fourth down there, but a failed execution. It was a failed execution that really didn't help Alabama there. Because in 3 plays, Alabama's in the Florida State's in the end zone there. As it's 24-7. Florida State up by 17. Alabama needs 2 touchdowns and a field goal to tie the game. 3-score game in Tallahassee in favor of Florida State here. And as we're at yet another commercial break. Feels like every other place a commercial break, huh? Matt Moscona, hey, buddy, remember, quoted you one time? You have your Bama burning notes ready? Because I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be coming to you on I guess you're doing your show Tuesday because Monday's Labor Day. Be ready for that. At this point, you might as well pencil it in. Even if Bama does find some way to come back and win the game, you might want to be ready for Bama's burning on Monday. I mean, I like your skits, buddy, but already showing signs of the season not really ready to go well. Luckily, Alabama does get Louisiana Monroe after this game, but Alabama looking like they're going to start 0-1 unless something trends in the right direction quickly for Alabama. Like Alabama had months and months and months to prepare for the game, but Alabama is coming out very flat other than the first drive of the game. Affleck trivia question. There are 3 top 10 matchups this weekend. Prior to the season, when was the last top 10 season opening matchup? I guess they were referring to the Ohio State-Texas game from earlier. Kickoff again goes out the back of the end zone. So Alabama is going to start again at their own 25-yard line. Things look good for Alabama in the beginning of the first half when Alabama was able to stop Florida State, but now things are just falling flat and falling apart quickly for Alabama. Simpson in the shotgun here. Simpson in the shotgun. Wastes a snap. Takes a snap. Hands it off to number 4, who gets tripped up by his own lineman. But luckily still gets a 3-yard gain. Second and 7. Simpson gets the pass off. A flag on the play. Flag on the play. I don't know what it's going to be on. It didn't look like pass interference. It looked like the contact happened after the ball got to, was it Bernard? Indication false start. Holding against Alabama, actually. I don't know if I would have. It would have been 3rd and 10, so Florida State could have probably declined that penalty, but they accepted to push Alabama to 2nd and 20. No, 2nd and 17, I should say. Second and 17 for Alabama. Simpson in the shotgun is going to take the snap. Throws it complete to Bernard. Bernard's got some room. He is going to get to gets in the Florida State territory just beyond the Florida State 45-yard line. That's going to be a first down for Alabama and way more. But the question is, can Alabama capitalize? Alabama has had so many opportunities in this game that they've not been able to capitalize on, and that's why they're down 17 here. Simpson alone in the shotgun on 1st and 10. Simpson takes the snap, throws it to Williams, incomplete. Ball bounces off of Williams' hands there. Williams limping. He's going to come out to play here. What happened there? Williams looked like he had it for a second. Oh, and then he gets dragged down in a bad way. Oof. So Williams looks like he's going to come out the game for at least a few plays. Simpson in the shotgun with a running back behind him on 2nd and 10. Barely gets the snap off. Hands it off, but the running back is stopped for a 1-yard loss. So it's going to be about 3rd and 11 for Alabama here. Williams coming back into the game. Then he comes right back out. That was a little confusing there. Simpson alone in his shotgun. Actually, no, correction. There's a running back. But anyway, Simpson takes it as though he was alone in the shotgun. Gets it to Bernard. And Bernard is going to get a 15-yard gain before being dragged out of bounds by a Florida State defender. If Alabama can score here, they might be able to cut it into around a three-point game before the end of the quarter, barring a good drive by Florida State. Alabama hands it off to Simpson hands it off to number 20, who then gets about a 2-yard gain there. Williams is back in the game at receiver. Number 17 is going to take a hike. Williams back in the game. Simpson again takes a snap. He's going to throw it to the end zone. Incomplete. 3rd and 8 for Alabama after a promising start to the drive. Now finds himself 3rd and 8 here. Alabama in the red zone has struggled a lot in this game. They're doing great at getting to the red zone, but they are not doing well once they get there. And in the game of college football, you got to take advantage of every opportunity you have in the red zone. Simpson in the shotgun again. Simpson waiting for the snap. Takes the snap. Looking to throw. Gets barely got the throw off. And it's going to fall mercilessly to the ground. So now I'm assuming Alabama's going to bring out the field goal unit on 4th and 8. Cut it to a 14-point game. No, Bama going for it again on 4th down. Not sure if this was you could have easily guaranteed. Well, not easily guaranteed. Simpson in the shotgun. Looks for a receiver. He throws it. Pass. Was Florida State holding? That looked like it might have been Florida State holding as a flag flew. A flag flew there. If it's holding on Florida State, and it is holding on Florida State, Alabama gifted a 1st down there by Florida State as Mike Norvell, the head coach of Florida State, is absolutely not happy. Oh, number 3 ran right into Ryan Williams, and they're saying it was just enough to where Williams could not get to the ball. Contact was clear there. Although I'm not sure if they're trying to argue intent wasn't there, but it doesn't matter. The contact was made. So Alabama with a fresh set of downs thanks to the penalty on 4th down. Oh, my goodness. Williams couldn't hold on to the ball. Almost deflected it right to the hands of a Florida State defender there. But luckily, nobody came down with that. Williams coming out of the game now. Williams coming out of the game now. And Simpson back into the shotgun with Bernard lined up next to him. Simpson takes a snap. And what? Okay, that was incomplete. I couldn't tell what happened right there. 3rd and 10 for Alabama. Now, if Alabama does not get it here, I'm thinking they're going for the field goal. DeBoer's been going aggressive, but I think now if you don't convert it on 3rd down, I think you have to take the points here. 3rd and 10. Just under 7 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. Got to hurry up and get the snap off. Just barely got the snap off. But now they're throwing the flag. Alabama, delay of game against the Crimson Tide. Awkwardly late throwing the flag there. Simpson had the ball for a good 5 seconds before they threw the flag there. I mean, I agree with the call, but why were you waiting so long to throw the flag? So I'll back that up, and Alabama now has 3rd and 15. They can get a 1st down without getting a touchdown. if they get to the 5-yard line, both sides arguing for a flag on the other, but nobody gets it. Snap. Simpson looking to throw. Oh, a fumble on the play. Recovered by number 72 on the offense, who somehow gets a good run, but he's going to be knocked out before the original line of scrimmage. That was a terrible looking play there. That could have been even worse. What was Simpson trying to do there? He was about to go down, then he just randomly throws the ball. Surprised he didn't get called for a legal forward pass. It's going to be a 40-yard attempt. He missed earlier from 51. This one from 40. Snap good, hold good, and the kick is good. So that is going to cut the deficit to 2 possessions. But Alabama needing to find a way to get their offense rhythm going, as Alabama, with just under 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter, cuts it down to 2 possessions, down 24-10. Offense looked good, but then penalties and then ill-timed bad plays kill Alabama's momentum on that drive there. Somebody commented on the reaction short, it's over with. Not exactly, but if Alabama keeps playing like this, it is. If Alabama does not, if Alabama doesn't stop Florida State on this incoming drive, it is. And if Alabama doesn't get points on their next drive, it's over with too. Shout out to Michael. I can't pronounce your last name, but shout out to you for the comment. Total of 28 viewers so far for the stream. Thank you to those 28, even if you just popped in for a second to see what was going on. Next time, I'm going to try to have it more fine-tuned, because technically 2 streams show up for Alabama versus Florida State, but I couldn't get the other one going for some reason through YouTube. And so I had no choice but to come on to StreamYard and use that. Next time, I'll try to have it more ironed out for you. Next confirmed one is going to be Wisconsin. I don't think I'm going to stream next week for ULM, although if I do decide, you'll know ahead of time. Still at commercial, Kevin Nealon in some sort of commercial for something for Walmart. Walmart commercials get weirder every year for some reason. And of course, we're getting close to fall, so now everything is being rolled out for pumpkin spice. Oh boy. Can we just get to the action already? See, this is the reason why a lot of people are turning off on college and professional football, is because the games are interrupted so much by commercials that they're hard to enjoy, even when your team is winning. And it's noticeable if you're watching this game right now. Finally, the action comes back as the camera, for some reason, focuses on 2 guys completely covered in glitter. Florida State crowd absolutely electric right now as they see their Seminoles up 14-0, up by 14 midway through the third quarter against Alabama. Last time Alabama came to Florida State, they lost. That was back in 2007. Now Alabama finds themselves trailing by 14 midway through the third quarter in Tallahassee. They did meet one other time since then, but that was in a neutral site, which Alabama won that one. The last time Alabama came to Tallahassee, they lost, and now they're trailing by 14 late in the third quarter. Castellanos in the shotgun hands it off and gets a mid gain there for about looks like about a 5-yard gain for the Florida State running back there. Second down and about 5 coming up for the Seminoles. Clock ticking, 5.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. If Alabama can get a quick stop here, they do have the potential to score before going into the final quarter. Castellanos in the shotgun again, throws it out. It looked like it might have been deflected before it got to the Florida State player. That or Castellanos just completely underthrew him. But it falls mercilessly to the ground, and Florida State finds itself in a 3rd and 5. Castellanos by himself in the shotgun. Now somebody randomly joins him, but then he ran from one side of the field to the other to get off the field. Don't know what the hell that was. Now Castellanos is joined by a running back that went in motion. Castellanos escapes the pressure and gets the first down. Alabama had a flag comes in late. Might have been a late hit against the Crimson Tide. If he went even slightly out of bounds, it's late hit against the Crimson Tide. They're calling it late hit against Alabama. So tack on about, I want to say about 15 yards towards the end of the run there. So the first down plus the penalty, number 1, hit Castellanos. I don't know. He might have still been slightly in bounds. Actually gets hit harder by the Alabama sideline than he did by whoever just hit him. Florida State hands it off and gets about a 4-yard gain. If Alabama does not get the ball back by the beginning of the fourth quarter, you might as well assume it's over. Clock ticking inside of 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Castellanos hands it off. This time, though, the running back has absolutely nowhere to go. Maybe a half-yard gain there. So Florida State's going to have it third and about 4. As the clock ticks inside 4 minutes left to go in the fourth. No, I'm sorry, in the third. Castellanos again lined up in the shotgun with a running back to his left. Castellanos went with a fake hut right there, but nobody was fooled. Now a guy goes in motion. Good protection from the Florida State line, and he completely overthrows everybody. Who was he even looking for right there was Castellanos. I wanted that play not to succeed, and I'm puzzled as to who Castellanos was even looking for right there. Castellanos is going to come out the play now as it is 4th and 4, and it looks like Florida State not in field goal range. So I'm assuming they're going to try to pin Alabama on the Alabama 1 yard line. Alabama might want to go safe and not rush the punter here. Although it looks like it might be going aggressive. No, the two guys that looked like they were going for him held up. And it's going to go out the back of the end zone. So Alabama's going to have the ball when they return on the 25-yard line with 3 minutes and 16 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Alabama, if they want to make this a completely different momentum and a completely different ball game, needs to score before the third quarter ends, because it's going to be a massive difference if they go into the fourth quarter still down versus if they go into the fourth quarter and have cut the deficit down to a touchdown. Simpson in the shotgun, that was a relatively quick changeover right there. Williams joins Simpson in the shotgun. Then the running back runs out to the wide side. There's my weird description there. Oh, Simpson gets sacked for about a 3 or 4 yard loss on first down. Again, I don't know what that formation was. Williams joined Simpson in the backfield. Then the running back lined up as though he was a receiver. And Simpson just threw it to absolutely nobody. Florida State trying to argue for intentional grounding, but they're not going to get it. Third and 17 for Alabama. Alabama might need to go to the air here. Where has that a lot of people talked about Ty Simpson's deep ball ability, but so far, well, we've seen it on a few plays. We need to see it here. Somebody looked like they called timeout, and it's going to be Alabama calling their first timeout of the half. That could come back to bite Alabama big time later in the game. As they take a timeout with 2:51 left to go in the third quarter. Down 24-10 is the Crimson Tide. Third and 17 here. Surprised that the camera did not go to commercial here. Alabama having a little bit better luck so far in the second half, other than that touchdown they allowed by Florida State. But the offense needs to get going here immediately. They backed, and what makes matters even worse is that Alabama is backed up to their own 10-yard line here. Simpson in the shotgun alongside a running back. Simpson takes the snap here. Good protection, at least for now. Looks to throw. Now he's going to run. I don't know what the hell the plan was there. Simpson, oh, he slipped. Fourth down there. I don't know if everybody was covered up. The bad thing is that they didn't show who was downfield. They can't show who's downfield or what. They have to show what's happening on the play. I don't know if somebody was covered up that Simpson was looking for, but it looked like he was about to throw, but then realized he crossed the line. It looked like he wanted to try and back up, but was afraid he was going to get attacked there. So now Alabama forced to punt with 2 minutes left to go in the fourth. No, I'm sorry, the third. Oh, did it bounce off a Florida State player? Did it bounce off a Florida State player? They're saying it did. They're saying it bounced off that Florida State player. I hope it did. I didn't see it as it was happening. I only saw the ball hit the ground, but it looked like it bounced off a Florida State player. Did it? Might have bounced off his foot. Let's see this. Oh, it bounced off his leg. It ricocheted up, bounced off his leg. Alabama recovers it, and now they're going to have good field position here. Finally, something like that breaks Alabama's way. First real fumble of the game. Well, Simpson now back on the field here. Lucky break for the Crimson Tide as it bounced off the leg of the Florida State returner, and Alabama is able to recover it. Simpson takes the snap, looking, throws it way downfield. It's caught. No, it's dropped, but the flag flew. Flags fly everywhere. It looks like it was pass interference against the Seminoles. Oh, he grabbed Williams by the jersey there. He grabbed Williams by the jersey in the end zone. And now Alabama with some opportunity to cut the deficit to 7 before we even get to the fourth quarter. Alabama was down by 17. Now they have an opportunity to cut that deficit even to a single possession before we even get to the fourth quarter. Simpson in the shotgun with Bernard joining him. Bernard acting as a running back. Bernard gets about a 3-yard gain there. A good game to drink to. Clock ticking, minute 27 left to go in the third quarter. Ball inside the Florida State 30-yard line. Simpson in the shotgun takes the snap, quick fake handoff and then throw. Don't even know how to describe that one, but it's incomplete. Looked like he had a guy open, but he underthrew him. 3rd and 7 coming up for Alabama. Oh, it got deflected. That's why. Because he had Bernard right there. Simpson in the shotgun with a guy to his left and a guy to the right. You know, very weird looking thing there. Simpson throwing it and just overthrew Bernard there. So if you're Alabama, what do you do here? Do you try and go for it on 4th and 7, or do you go for a field goal to cut the deficit to 11 going into the fourth quarter? Risk reward here coming in big time, because if you get the touchdown, it's a 1-possession game going into the fourth quarter. But if you only get the field goal and they're going for it here. Somebody moved early, though they're not calling it. Simpson barely escapes pressure. Simpson throws it. Incomplete. No, he might have bounced it up. No, they're saying it's incomplete. They're saying it's incomplete. So that's going to be a turnover on downs for Alabama. And it looks like Alabama is going to go into the fourth quarter down 14. Bad break there for Alabama as the ball. Was that Williams? Was that the ball, or did Williams' elbow hit the ground there? Oh, it hit the ground. It hit the ground. So now Florida State has the ball, 1st and 10. Castellanos in the shotgun. Takes the snap, hands it off, and they get a loss on the play there. Alabama defenders in the backfield almost immediately to get the running back down, and he loses a good 2 or 3 yards on the play. Might bring it into the third quarter. Sorry, I just kicked the table there. That's why the camera randomly moved. I'm assuming they're going to hand it off to the running back here, and they do. And they're going to stand him up after a 2-yard game, getting back to the original line of scrimmage. You're going to bring it into the third quarter with Alabama down 24-10. Alabama needing to find a way not only to get the ball back, but to score almost immediately. Into the third quarter, 24-10, Alabama. I am going to go ahead and take a quick bathroom break, and then I'm going to come back on stream. All right, I'm back from that. Looking at the analytics, I see 543 people watch the halftime reaction short. So thank you to those of you that watched it. Hope you thought my thoughts were honest, because they were there. Still at a commercial break here, as we are about to start the fourth quarter in Tallahassee with Alabama down by 14. Defense so far improved in the second half, but is really not looking that great for the offense. Alabama offense needs to get in rhythm quickly. When the game restarts, Florida State's going to have possession with a 3rd and 10. So Alabama's going to have to get a quick stop there and then find a way to score, which Alabama's been having trouble moving the ball ever since the first drive of the game. Alabama did get a touchdown on the first drive of the game, but has not been able to find the end zone since, and has only since scored 1 field goal. Florida State, on the other hand, has been just pounding it down Alabama's throat until around the mid part of the third quarter, when Alabama's defense finally started to get together. And they're showing the replay of that failed 4th down attempt. Mike Norvell being interviewed. Here we go. Alabama in a crucial situation on 3rd and 9 needs to find a way to stop here. Castellanos was under center, but now moves back into the shotgun. And he is going to be sacked. Thank goodness. Gets him off the field in seconds there. So Alabama basically going to have 14 seconds left to get a touchdown, get another stop, and get another touchdown. Bama defense held up good right there when it needed to. Now the offense needs to find a way to get us back into this game. Florida State going to punt the ball here. Fair catch signaled for at the 36-yard line. So Alabama going to get the ball officially with 14-16 left to go in the game. Down by 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. Alabama could easily find a way to get this game back, but needs to get their offense rolling. It's a tale of two halves for Alabama's defense. Bama's defense doing pretty well in the second half, other than allowing that touchdown. But the offense has just not clicked at all in this game. Simpson so far looks okay in spurts, but not good down the field. Simpson in the shotgun, looking to throws it to Williams. One of the first times you heard of him all day. Only gets about a 4-yard gain, though, before going out of bounds. Remember, clock only stops by going out of bounds if it's within 2 minutes, so that's not going to stop the clock there. Simpson gets it out to the tight end, number 80, who's got some room. He's down at about the 33-yard line. So a good play there. If Alabama can find a way to get this in before about the 11-minute mark, they're in good shape to climb back and win and tie the game up before the game ends. Number 80 is going to come out the game. It looked like he might have injured his leg at some part of the leg there. Simpson in the shotgun, Bernard in motion, running back to Simpson's right. Simpson looking to throw. He throws it to number 4, who is going to be getting about a 4-yard gain before he stood up and knocked out of bounds. Come on, Bama. Time is not on your side here, Bama. You're down by 14. You need to get the pace up. You want to score before the 11-minute mark. Bama on this side of the field also has really struggled here. Simpson going to hand it off here. 28 gets just shy of the first down. It was number 28, Riley, on the play. Going to be about 3rd and 1 for the Crimson Tide, as Florida State's defense having an issue with tempo here. Can Alabama potentially catch him napping, maybe? Ty Simpson is going to hand off to the running back. He gets the first down and more. Finally, something positive for the offense, but they need a score. You need a score. That way you can get your defense enough time to get the ball back. As time is now called as a Florida State player is down. Yes, I know I took my hat off right there. I always do that if a player's injured, just simply as a sign of respect. Because I don't care if you're the opposing team or if you're on the team I'm rooting for. I don't want you to get injured. So, yes, that's why I took my hat off, if you wondered right there. I've always just considered it a sign of respect towards the other player. Commercial break while they attend to the injured player for Florida State. Alabama, when they are able to, hopefully it's just a cramp or something. But Alabama, when they're able to resume the game or resume the action, will have the ball 1st and 10 deep into Florida State territory. One of the best field positions Alabama's had so far in the game, other than when Alabama scored from 2 yards away. So far, 543, having watched that halftime reaction short with 3 likes. Thank you to those of you who take the time to tune in to the short and to like the short. Those will always continue. Still at a commercial break. Also, too, I might as well mention this. I'm watching this as of right now through Hulu. There is a delay on Hulu between the actual happenings of the game. It's usually about 30 seconds. So if you're hearing what I'm saying a good bit after what has actually happened, it's because I'm watching it on Hulu. Now, probably by the next stream, I'm going to see about getting YouTube TV. I want to get YouTube TV that way I can have NFL Sunday Ticket. Most of you know I'm a Patriots fan, but most of the games are out of market in this area, so I want to get YouTube TV. That way I can get NFL Sunday Ticket. So by the next stream, which as of right now is Wisconsin in 2 weeks, I will have YouTube TV. That way I can keep better tabs on the game. But for right now, I'm watching it through Hulu. Yeah, that's a Nashville 911 ad just passed by. Now they're showing footage of Clemson entering their stadium. Hold on, let me send a text to the guy. First and 10 for Alabama from the 18-yard line. Simpson throws it complete to Bernard, who gets out of bounds immediately, though it's going to do nothing. Oh, wait, maybe it did stop the clock there. Now it's rolling again. Okay. Same guy just sent me a text. And since the injured player is now attended to, let me put the hat back on. Yeah, that's – I just consider it a sign of respect to take – if you're wearing headgear, take it off while an injured player is being attended to. First and goal for Bama. Simpson takes a snap, handed it. Oh, he faked everybody, including the cameraman. Touchdown, Alabama. Touchdown, Alabama, right as the clock ticks to 11 minutes left to go in the game. And pinning the extra point, Alabama is within a touchdown of tying the game. What happened? Ball clearly breaks the plane. That's clearly going to be a touchdown for Alabama there. Touchdown, Alabama. And that's going to put Alabama within a touchdown and an extra point of tying the game, assuming the defense can hold. $11 minutes left in the game, so Alabama in perfect position as Little Junior, I forget his first name. They showed it earlier in the game, but I forgot it, is being escorted off the field by Florida State training staff. He might have been hurt at some point in that previous play. I didn't really see it nor am I listening to the ESPN on ABC commentary. So I didn't know. So I don't know what happened there. But he's being walked off the field under his own power, so it doesn't look too serious there. Extra point is good. So the score with 11 minutes left to go in regulation, the score 20 Florida State 24, Alabama 17. Alabama finally looking like they're knocking on the door here, but the defense has to hold here, and Alabama needs to continue the offensive momentum they started on this drive here. All right, since it's that commercial, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick stand up and walk break before. All right, here we go. Game has returned. Alabama about to kick the ball off with 11 minutes left to go. They need to stop FSU, and then they need to get the ball back and score. 24-17, 11 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Kickoff is once again going to go out the end zone. Only one kickoff so far has not gone out the back of the end zone. And it was that Florida State one where they would have been better off just letting it bounce out the end zone anyway. Georgia up 45-7 over Marshall. Arkansas up 44-7 over Alabama A&M. And the rest went too fast. I couldn't read it. Castellanos in the shotgun. He has a running back with him. Can the Alabama defense respond to the call of duty here? Hands it off and is gobbled up for about a 3-yard gain. Okay, another comment section just spoiled what happened. So let's see what happens here. Something major, I think something major is going to happen here. Castellanos is stopped just before he can get to the first down here. Third and 2, Alabama needing a stop. If Alabama can stop Florida State, they can get the ball back with 9.5 minutes left and have a lot of time left to do something. Hands it off, and he is going to get the first down. Though it looked so, somebody's saying he fell. Somebody's saying he fell before the first down. I don't know. Like the camera was even fooled here because he was behind the guy and he falls down. Here's a replay with the actual good camera angle. Oh, I can't tell really well there either. They're saying officially it's 4th and 1. They're going for it. Castellanos in shotgun. If you're going for it on 4th down and 1, I don't know why you're in the shotgun. Alabama, if they stop it here, gets good field position, but they don't. So now, best case scenario for Alabama is that they get the ball back with 7 minutes left to go in the game. Castellanos by himself in the shotgun, almost sacked, and he just ends up throwing it away. Receiver was in the vicinity. I don't know why he didn't try to just flip it out to him. But I guess he just decided he wanted to try and live another day and just threw it to where in the general direction of where the nearest receiver was. Second and 10, Castellanos in the shotgun. Ball at the 38-yard line. Hands it off. No, he faked the handoff and actually loses a yard. Alabama, if they flag, it might have been face mask. What the hell? What the heck was that? Personal foul. A guy fell and landed on the guy. Or was it taunting? Anyway, it's a first down for Florida State. .38 left in the game. So if Alabama can get Florida State off the field here, then they might be able to get the ball back with 6 minutes left to do something. Ball past midfield. Gets about a yard before you stand up as the running back. Second down and about 8 for Florida State. No, they officially rule it 2nd and 9. 8:11 left to go in the game, or at least in regulation. If you're Alabama, you might play for a tie here and then take it to overtime to see what you can do. Something is happening here. Heel Green, number 41, limping. Alabama takes a timeout. I don't know what the hell happened here. He looks like he's mad at something. That's going to leave Alabama with 1 timeout left. 2nd and 9 when the game comes back. I don't know what the hell was happening there. Like he was limping off the field. Clock stopped, but then Alabama had to take a timeout for some reason. take another break here. I'll be back when the game action resumes again. Still on a commercial. Hopefully the game is about to get back in the way here. Again, they're showing Clemson about to enter their stadium. Second and 9 for Florida State as Castellanos is in the shotgun. Hands it off to 19 after a fake handoff, and he's going to get the first down inside the 30. That might be the ball game. That might be the ball game for Alabama. 8 minutes left in the game. Florida State just got a new set of downs within the 20-yard line. That might be the ball game there for Alabama. Castellanos by himself gets another gain. Surprised they didn't call Alabama for our horse collar or a face mask right there. But he gets about a 7-yard gain. As an Alabama player is down on the field. When play resumes, it's going to be 2nd and 4 for Florida State at the 15-yard line. First down puts it in a goal-to-goal situation as an Alabama player is being helped off the field, number 20. I believe that's Lawson. If the back of his jersey, if I can read the back of his jersey right. Number 20 being helped off the field here. Big loss for Alabama here, as we are now in another goal-to-goal, as we're in a 2nd and 4 for Florida State. Castellanos in the shotgun by himself before a player joins him. Hands it off, and that's going to be a first down. Looks like, dang it, touchdown, Florida State. And that might just put the game on ice here, as Florida State's now going to go up 31-17. It's looking over. Alabama would need a touchdown and then an onside kick followed by another touchdown to win this game. It is practically over here. Why are they reviewing the play? It was clearly a touchdown. Why are they reviewing the play? See, I hate it in college football when clearly they were in the end zone, but then they still call it. They try to find something. Clearly, he crossed the plane. He clearly crossed the plane there for Florida State, but of course they're going to milk it into a review that's unnecessarily long here. And of course, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Florida State going to go up 31-7 over Alabama. Oh boy, tough start here for Alabama in the season. If Alabama does not score on this ensuing drive, I will end the stream. If Alabama doesn't score on this ensuing drive, I am going to end the stream. Because at that point, it'll basically be over. As they say, it's all over but the shouting. Why is Florida State lined up in this weird kickoff formation? Kickoff again goes out the back of the end zone, as it seems like kickoffs are doing naturally in this game. Bama going to get the ball back at the 25-yard line. If they cannot score here, the game is over, and I'll turn off the stream. Simpson gets to number 4, gets just shy of the first down with a little bit over 7 minutes left to go in the game. Clock not on Alabama's side here. Simpson again takes the snap, gets the pass off, but it goes in and out of the hands of Cuevas. 3rd and 1 for Alabama. Clock is going to stop with 6:50 left to go in the game. Alabama needs a touchdown, a quick stop, followed by another touchdown. And that is an incomplete pass. So any chance Alabama has at winning this game, whatever slim they be, rides here on 4th and 1. If Alabama cannot get it here, it's over. 6:46 left to go in the game. Alabama, if they cannot get at least 1 yard, it is over. Alabama 1 of 3 on 4th down so far. Simpson going to be by himself in the backfield. 4th and 1. Florida State looks like they're going to try to go aggressive with a rush, and a flag flew. Looks like it's false start against Alabama. Alabama not going to matter. Alabama still needs to go for it, but now 4th and 6, Alabama, whatever slim chances Alabama has of getting the win here, Alabama needs at least 6 yards. Otherwise, the game is over. And I'll end the stream here. 4th and 6, Alabama needing to get to the 35-yard line to even have a chance. Caught by number 11, well past the first down. So whatever slim hopes Alabama had of winning the game is still slightly alive, but time is not on their side. Time is not on Alabama's side at all here. Simpson in the shotgun after getting a brand new set of downs. You got to figure if Alabama does not score with it. What the hell was that? If you have to figure Alabama has to score before the 5-minute mark that to even have a slim chance of winning the game or even tying the game for that matter. Second and 10 from the Florida State from the Alabama 42-yard line. Simpson takes the snap, looking to throw, throws it, complete. No, Williams dropped it. But now a flag flies. Williams looks like he got hurt on the play. Flag flew almost immediately after Williams fell to the ground there. Don't really see what could have caused that flag there. Targeting against Florida State, so that's going to be reviewed. If it is indeed targeting, then Alabama is going to have the ball deep in Florida State territory. Let's see here. Oh, boy, what the hell happened on that play? He does lead with his head. Crown of the helmet did make contact with Williams' helmet, although it looked more like he hit his own teammate more than he did Williams there. Are you allowed to call targeting if it hits another player on your side? Targeting has been so inconsistent that I don't really know what is going to be ruled here after seeing that replay. It would be better if I would be allowed to watch this thing with the commentary running in the background, but I can't. Don't know what they're saying here. I don't know which way it's going to be ruled out because I can't see a definitive angle. Remember, by wording of the review rule, it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn it. Call overturned there. So Alabama will get the ball 3rd down and 10 from their own 42-yard line. 6:07 left to go in regulation. You have to figure if Alabama cannot score before the clock ticks below 5 minutes, the game is over. Excuse me. I'm not really complaining about the overturn. I didn't really see enough evidence to mark it targeting. So I'm not going to comment really whether I think it was targeting because really I couldn't see enough evidence to rule either way. So I guess you can just let him play there. Simpson takes the snap, looking to throw. looking to throw, barely escapes the sack. Now he throws it way down the field, went right through the hands of number 8. So it's going to be 4th and 10. Whatever slim hope Alabama has of winning this game now rides on this 4th and 10 with 5:55 remaining in regulation. If Alabama does not score on this drive, I'm going to end the stream. If Alabama is stopped here, I'm ending the stream. Here we go. 4th and 10. Simpson in the shotgun, takes the snap. Good protection here. Simpson looking to throw, is gonna, no, he escapes pressure, still going. Short. Referees look like they're going to bring out the chains to measure it, but I think he was short. I think he was short on the play. Looking at that review angle, maybe he did somehow get it, but I think he's short. I think he's short. And if he is, this game's over. There's no point in continuing the stream if this, I think he was short. I think he was short there. Measurement again. Last measurement did not go in favor of Alabama. This one doesn't look too promising either. It is short. Well, Andrew the GOAT says this Alabama team is so soft they're not good. I wouldn't necessarily say they're soft. They're very physical, but the problem is undisciplined and blowing assignments when we're not able at the worst possible time. That's what killed us here, especially against Castellanos, is that it's undisciplinedness, and that killed Alabama last year, and that looks like it's going to kill Alabama this year if they don't turn it around fast, is undisciplined here. As I thought somebody was blowing up my phone, but it wasn't. But now something is randomly under review. Are they reviewing it for potential targeting against Ty Simpson? That might be. Although it looked more like the side of the helmet hit Ty Simpson than anything. Again, I'm not watching it with ESPN commentary here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to mute this just so I can see what the commentators are saying. Okay, they're reviewing the spot of the ball is what they were doing. They're reviewing to see if the ball was spotted the wrong way. And what did he just say? Call upheld. Florida State's going to get the ball back. Florida State wins the game. Might as well call it right now. 5:39 left in the game. Alabama down 2 scores. This game did not go in the favor of the Crimson Tide. Florida State might as well just run the ball short every time and take as much time as off the clock, because there's no way Alabama is going to come back to win this game. I hate to say it, but we lost this game, and we have nobody to blame but ourselves for losing this game. I mean, props to Florida State here. They did a very good job of exploiting every weakness in the book that Alabama had. But, I mean, Andrew the GOAT said this Alabama team is so soft. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but this Alabama team, there was a lot of weaknesses that Florida State has taken advantage of in this game, to the point where Alabama just looked downright vulnerable in this game. I mean, I cannot sugarcoat it. It took way too long for the offense to get any sort of momentum. The defense took way too long to figure out Castanelos. I forgot his name for a second. Took way too long to figure him out. And that has killed Alabama in this game. And I'm calling it the way I see it. This Alabama team just did not look good today. We looked very off, very sloppy, very undisciplined, not enough momentum offensively. And just not a good game overall. Yeah, I mean, just not good execution. And I know Alabama fans are probably up in arms on Twitter about some calls that never went our way, but still, I mean, first off, those calls went the right way, and secondly, if Alabama would have played well enough, those two calls would have never mattered. It just, I don't know what. Okay, Christ follower 123. I don't know what you're referring to there. Fupa with a long line of A's there. Might just stay on for the hell of it, but not a good game here from Alabama. Hey, holla to you too, Christ follower 123. Alabama about to lose their first season opener since 2002. And what an off day for the SEC so far in the major high prominent games. Texas loses 14-7 against Ohio State, and now Alabama is going to fall to Florida State. There is the 2-minute warning. Alabama has one timeout left, but it's just not really worth it at this point. Roll Tide to you, Christ follower 123. I mean, if there's anything beneficial to being an Alabama fan over the past 3 years, is that we're about to find out who the whole time was a true Alabama fan and who was a fake Alabama fan. Because all the bandwagon wow, I looked up at the TV at the wrong time because some guy just looked right into the camera and flipped the ESPN camera off. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream right now. I want to thank everybody. If something insane does happen, I will address it in a short, and get my reaction in a short, but I doubt anything's going to happen. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate that I'm able to do this. Even though the first game went terrible, terrible as in result-wise for Alabama. Thank you for subscribing, Christ follower 123, as Florida State gets another first down when it didn't matter. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, and it's definitely consider myself blessed to be able to do the streams. And I will see y'all in the next live stream in 2 weeks when Alabama takes on Wisconsin. Overall, disappointing game. Simpson looked great in spurts, but not really good. Not a great start at all. Thank you, Christ follower 123. Not great execution at all. In fact, you could argue a lot of the same flaws that happened to Alabama last year are now happening. Thank you a lot, Tornado. That's actually a good memeable photo right there of Kurt Angle in a weird face. But thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all. Well, I'll see y'all a lot before then because I will still be doing. I'm gonna do an in the game reaction, quick, short, and then next week I'll still do Alabama game day today for UL Monroe, and maybe even I don't know if I'll do a halftime short, but I'll do a in the game short, and then I'll definitely do content leading up to the Wisconsin game. Y'all tune in for the stream of Wisconsin, which is going to be a noon game. Thank you very much for watching. Despite the way it went for Alabama, I enjoyed being able to stream. I hope you'll join me for the rest of the streams throughout the year. I thought it was a very good first stream. And I'll see you later. Thank you very much. Just a disappointing day. But still, I'm a fan for life. Roll Tide.